Good Work Podcast, hosted by Terrell and J'Quen Johnson. We specialize in taking a deep dive into issues that truly matter. Each episode unpacks the challenges and opportunities facing today's leaders, from classrooms to boardrooms, offering insights that inspire real change. By redefining success, we're changing lives, empowering people everywhere to create environments where everyone feels a sense of belonging, whether at home, work, or school. So hey, sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we explore the issues shaping our futures, one meaningful conversation at a time. Let's go!
What does it truly mean to do good work? It's not just about excellence, it's about making a real difference. Do Good Work Podcast explores how impactful work can transform lives and communities. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for the Do Good Work Podcast. Stream live on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Be part of a community that values meaningful change. Our mission is to highlight leaders, educators, politicians, and change makers everywhere. We redefine success by showcasing stories of transformation, liberation, and innovation. In each episode, discover how individuals like yourself can and are making a difference. Through inspiring stories, we aim to ignite your passion for change. Learn from those who are not just succeeding, but are also impacting lives positively. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest episodes. Follow us on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes content. Stay connected and be part of our growing community. Engagement is key. Drop comments in the chat. And know your support helps us continue to bring impactful stories to light. Double tap and show some love for the work that truly matters. Missed an episode? No worries. Catch up on past episodes for more insights and inspiration. Each story offers a unique perspective on doing good work. Revisit powerful conversations and learn from diverse voices. Every episode is a chance to gain new understanding and motivation. Don't just do something good. By subscribing and engaging with us every Sunday, you'll be part of a movement that values meaningful impact. Call to action, subscribe, watch, and engage with us every Sunday. Let's make a difference together. Do good work. What does it truly mean to do good work? It's not just about
Welcome to Do Good Work Podcast. And happy Wednesday to each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in to this midweek show. Unusual kind of day for us because we are normally live on Sundays. Yes, it's good to see you. Thank you. And so here we are, Wednesday night, midweek, and we're ready to get into tonight's episode. If you do us a favor, like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube and make sure I place things differently. If you don't mind going like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and then also share the link out to folks in your network for tonight's episode. Let them know we're on Wednesday night, not Sunday night. We'll be back on Sunday, but Wednesday is the making up for this past Sunday. Come to that in just a moment. And if you don't mind dropping some comments in the chat, whatever platform you're on, and letting us know where you're tuning in from. I also want to point out, there's too many things moving on my screen, that for those of you who are maybe perhaps tuning in for one of the first times, especially during the midweek show, you can always drop a comment in the chat. We're coming to you on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. But also, if you would like to, you can call or text the show live at 713-496-2717. That's 713-496-2717. We're going to get into it. I'm going to kick it over to J'Quen to kick us off with our weekly show game.
Yeah, good to see you all. So using the first letter of your last name, describe your day or week. I'm going to go first and then give you some time to do what you're doing and then kick it over to you. I have to say July. As I was going through my phone today and interacting with some folks, I've realized that there are a lot of birthdays in July. So if you have a birthday in July, happy birthday. There's a lot of planning going on. Looking forward to this weekend is the first birthday we're celebrating. And then I have something the following weekend as well. So looking forward to celebrating all these people's birthdays. So my word is July for Johnson. Jay, yourself.
It has been the kind of day where I'm going to go with sun. I don't know if I've used that before, but S Strayhorn, it's sun. Lots of sunlight, good things are happening, bright things are happening, and not to mention it's summer, and it's officially summer. So I am excited about that. So the way we do it is, I think I've put all the little hashtags in there, posted. All right. The way we do this is if you will take the first letter of your last name and think about a word that captures the essence of who you are, how your week is going, and you can drop it into the chat and we can share it. I should also probably pull up the hotline. There we go. Super. That's a good one. And super from my mom. Hello, mother. And if you will drop it into the chat. If you want to text it in, give me a second to pull that up. It's 713-496-2717. You can text it and we'll see it here. Remember, the rules are if you put it in the comments, we're free to show it on the show, on the screen. But if you text it to us, we will not announce it. We will share the information, but we won't announce who sent it or the phone number who sent it. So your phone number is safe with us. But also you can call into the show and we can talk to you that way. Okay. All right. So for this particular show, what we typically have done is over the course of time, we've had, different segments. One is we do the show game about the first letter of your last name as a way to kick off. And then secondly, we've been spending some time, I would say over the last couple of months, really using AI as a tool to help people who might be trying to re-engineer, get back out into the workforce. And so we have been giving some advice there. I do have something I want to share about AI. And then typically we have one or two topics that we'll introduce and talk about during the show. Midway through, we have a video that will show. I have a video that's actually associated with my topic for tonight, so maybe that'll be the video. But then remember, stay tuned. We got music for you. And so one of the things I've been really just loving is creating and composing music and then using the podcast as a way to premiere or debut that music. So don't go anywhere. Let folks know we're on. But if you are a person who's out there and have been thinking about retooling, upskilling, trying to get back into the workforce, and you've been thinking about using AI, artificial intelligence, to help you as a tool to get there, one of the things that I was just recently talking to a good friend of mine who lives in Houston, who works in HR, actually has a LinkedIn page that's pretty impressive, was that what they're seeing in HR is a lot of folks who are using AI tools, and many times this is totally appropriate for you to do, but they're using it, and if you're not specific in your prompting, AI like ChatGPT or Grammarly or Claude or Lex AI, there are a lot of them out there. They will create content for you that's, it will do the job. It will be, it'll suffice what you need. It'll give you a cover letter. It can give you a resume. But, there are lots of people using AI. And so one of the things he's talking about is how human resource and talent management professionals, HRTM, are starting to spend time trying to, one, detect AI and understand how you used it in your applications. So there are two things that he said that I thought this is worth sharing with broader audiences. One is that it's absolutely appropriate to use AI, but you can, what companies and businesses many in like corporate America, education, banking, healthcare are looking for is for you to be transparent about how you're using it. So he has seen applications where people might say, put their cover letter, put their resume, and maybe some additional material. And in their application, in one of those empty boxes or at the bottom in a footnote, it will say cover letter, artificial intelligence, or might say ChatGPT or Claude was used to edit my original draft of this cover letter. And for some HR professionals, that is standing out as like really wonderful, because what I think an employer is picking up is, here's a person who, one, uses AI and knows how to use it. Two, I'm not going to ever get in trouble that they're going to use AI and present something as if it's 100% original. They're owning and naming the specific role. So obviously by saying it's an original cover letter, it means that you wrote something and then used AI to improve the writing of it or the grammar of it. Some people might say like, hey, AI was used to structure or format my resume based on a previous draft or an old draft or a chronological list of my work experience. So what that tells a person is, you put in AI your work experience and then said, generate for me a resume, and it did it. The reason why that's helpful is, let's say you're applying for a job. You don't have to be in graphic design or IT or computers, but if you're applying for a job where they're wondering, do you have graphical design skills? And then you turn in an application that's got these like far out graphics, they're gonna be like, oh wow, here's a person who knows how to use, maybe Adobe, Photoshop, Canva, all these software to create graphics. But by disclosing, hey, listen, I put my raw material in AI came up with these graphics. Now they can reasonably know what to expect from you, that if they were to hire you, they shouldn't be like, hey, you're going to be the director of graphics just based on what you submitted. So I'm going to suggest that if you are a person who's out there looking to upskill, looking to get back into the workforce, and you're trying to think about using AI, one, name the specific role that it played. And then the second piece of advice that he gave, which I thought was pretty cool, is that you can, in prompting, a lot of people say in chat, write a cover letter, write me a resume, write me a letter to my landlord. Okay, it will do that for you. But a better approach is to give your AI a role. So just for free, everyone who's listening to the podcast or listen to the episode later will share out, tell Claude, you are, or act as a seasoned human resource professional who has helped hundreds land jobs in healthcare. Now write my cover letter based on my experience, what you know about me, and revise and improve this draft of my resume for this job that I want to apply for. Here's the link to the job, right? So I was just doing this with something I was working on where I told my AI, act as a seasoned or experienced or award-winning editor, and look at what I've written and improve it for a broader audience, not for an academic audience. But so I even tried one time saying like, you are a former editor of the New York Times. Edit this piece so that it would be appealing to the New York Times in terms of an op-ed. So you can tell your AI what role to have. Like, think of yourself as a CEO. Imagine you are a job coach for someone or leadership coach, and then execute the assignment or task that I have for you to do. All right. Those are two things I think about with AI. Anything to add or reactions to them?
Yeah, I like both of them. I think that especially disclosing that you're using AI is probably something that is being more encouraged in today's time, since people are using it more often. I also believe that, I guess prompting AI to do exactly what you want, it does take time and ear to process. So again, it's not something that you just type a sentence and get the best results. You just, read and reprompt to get to what you want. I've also seen people use artificial intelligence by explaining what they've done in the past, maybe upload their resume or cover letter, and then explaining kind of what they want to do in their life as a career, and then asking chat to give them some recommendations, and then follow that up with, maybe, depending on the field or the area that you're interested in, giving them the direct link to those things. So like, if it's higher ed specific, give them some links, and then ask it to, like, are there any jobs that you believe that would, kind of fit what I'm looking for? I've had conversations about that a couple of times, and people seem to be satisfied with it.
Yeah. All right. So if you like those tips and tools, then obviously put them to use. But if you have others, then feel free to either share on the comments on whatever platform you're listening in for, or you can dial the hotline and tell us about it, or you can text and tell us about it, and we will share it, excuse me, share it with others. But just know that, I personally have a really strong, sort of opinion about this idea that like chat shouldn't be used, or AI is a bad thing. Actually, I just had this conversation with some people today about how many universities are embracing it, because it is not just part of the future, it's with us today. Many programs, graduate programs, I'm talking doctoral programs, are working to embrace it and incorporate it in their classrooms. People are looking for faculty and teachers. As a dean of education in my day job, I know that there are districts that want our graduates to be able to use artificial intelligence in their teaching in the classrooms in productive ways. So I think we should embrace it. I'm not saying that there are no, challenges with it. I think that there are obviously ethical questions we must address. There likely integrity, like data quality and information. Like, sometimes it does hallucinate. It will tell me things and point me in the direction of stuff that actually does not exist. So you got to still have critical thinking skills and be able to evaluate the validity of information. But otherwise, I think it is a wonderful tool that accelerates a lot of what we do. And I'm glad to hear that, folks like my friend are finding ways for people to use it in their job search, because job searching is quite hard and quite difficult. So let's get into it. We got two good topics for you. What I'll do is kick it over to you, J'Quen, let you take us through. We'll take some time, and then in the middle, I'll play something, and then I'll come back with another topic, and then we'll close out with a song. You're listening to Do the Work podcast, and we're glad to have y'all with us, J'Quen.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this really yesterday, going to the barbershop, cutting the food with everybody, talking about different things, and higher education came up. Just people asking about the admissions process. Why should students go to college? The new generation of thinking about other alternatives other than college. And then there were some people, two women actually, who have kids. Their sons were there getting haircuts, and they were saying that they want to go back to school. Both of them, interestingly, want to do sonography. And they were just asking about, like, some of their concerns in terms of, what if, one of their questions was, what if, I'm in class and I get a phone call from the school saying that my kid is sick and I have to leave class. Like, are my professors willing to let me go? Will I be able to, leave class, or will I get, points taken off for not staying the entire time? What does the class scheduling look like? Like, I have to go to school from 8 to 5, 5 days a week. What if my kid is sick and I can't go to class on Wednesday and Thursday? Like, how do I communicate with my professors, or do I have to talk to my academic advisor? All these sorts of things. And it's like, they were talking about how when they go on the website to kind of look for these answers, they're not there. Then they don't know exactly who to call to answer those questions. Or when they do call the school, sometimes they don't pick up after calling them several times, or someone does pick up and they don't have the answer to their question, but they know who to get them to. So they, what do they call it? They transfer them to someone else. That person doesn't pick up, or that person does pick up. They don't have the answer. They transfer to someone else. So it's very exhausting. They also feel like, when they're on the website, and they're reading these things about the program, we have, there are some programs that have like a 3+1 program or a 2+2 program, not really understanding what that truly means. So all sorts of questions that they have that go unanswered. And it was a pretty interesting time to just sit and talk with them about some of their concerns and fears and go through those questions with them. And at some point we got to the point where, I was asking them about, what they want to do, time to degree. We got to think about that, financial aid, so forth. And we just, at the end of it, got on the phone call. We called like 3 community college schools, and asked the question. I think we asked like 3 or 4 questions about their program, if they take prior learning credit, the financial aid, time to degree, all these things. And at the end of it, it was just very useful. They were just saying how they appreciate it. It's like the first step they've really taken towards going back to school. So I think for me personally, it was interesting. It was rewarding just to see them have that kind of spark in their eyes. But for me, I think that it brought me back to reality to think about, like, when we're having conversations with leadership, even today when I had conversations, we're not really thinking about those non-traditional students who are trying to go back to school, students who, already have children and so forth, and what ways can we support them throughout the process?
Yeah. There are 2 articles that I saw in what was formerly, at one point it was diverse issues in higher education. Now it's the EDU Ledger. And we've had Jamal Watson on the show before. And Jamal's written 2 op-eds. One is about the 43 million Americans that higher education has left behind. These are adult learners, essentially, who, some of them have some higher education. They took a course at a community college, or took a course online, or they started college and then stopped because life lifed, or starting family happened. And then, and then they departed and they haven't come back to complete the degree. And so he talks about, like, as our institutions are really struggling and trying to meet enrollment goals, that we have to broaden our aperture so that we start to see college students as more than just the 18-year-old who's coming out of high school, and really paying attention to adult learners, and not just looking at them as like another market to tap into, but really getting to know them. Adult learners, older students with dependents, working students. I'm trying to think of all the groups that fit in there. There's the problem is no single label captures all of them. And there's diversity even within that group, because some of these students are women, some of them are men, some of them are living with, I was reading an article today about the remarkably large number of college students who live with autism. And it's because our understanding of autism has advanced that now we've got better numbers of this. And so people who higher education has mislabeled or missed altogether, now we're realizing that, that amongst their varying level identities and abilities is also a form of autism. And then we start thinking about, like, what kind of support do we need to provide those students? So I'm saying all that to say this terrain of higher education, the field of higher education has changed dramatically. Most of our students, depending on where you work, most of our students are not non-traditional age, 18-year-olds coming straight out of high school. We will always have those. But there's another article I read today that was, and I didn't read it, I skimmed it today, that said something like the last class of 18-year-olds, that may have also been Jamal. I know it was on EDU Ledger, I'm pretty sure. And what they were suggesting is that because of this whole enrollment cliff, this whole demographic shift in birth rates, that because folks didn't have kids at the point who would now be maturing to the point of being 18, we're going to have a smaller number of students coming out of high school. By the way, not all high school students graduate, right? So not everyone who went to high school is eligible for college, but this shrinking pool of students coming out, and then on top, and that will cause us to look for students elsewhere. And as we look for students elsewhere, we will pay attention to adult learners, non-traditional, international, those who are looking to study online, and that hopefully will drive or inform what we do in higher education in terms of our teaching, our pedagogies, and our approach. But I think if nothing else, it just complicates. And I don't mean complicates in a way that's bad. I think it changes the nature of our work and hopefully calls us as a profession to think more, I want to say the word nuance, but think more complexly about our work. In other words, if you're going to work in admissions, long gone are the days that you're only going to be going out and recruiting at high schools and looking at 18-year-olds in applications. And if you are training folks who will go on to be admission workers or admissions counselors, long gone are the days that you're going to train them just to think about building relationships with high school guidance counselors. Much of that work is about getting into workplace and developing relationships with corporations and businesses who might also have workers who want to upskill and uptool and come to your institution.
Yeah, I agree. I think that another thing too is like maybe recommitting or committing ourselves to, like, I know there are already counselors designated to certain territories or counties or regions, so forth, but maybe having a counselor designated just for those adult learners or those, I know some schools have a counselor for special populations that directly works with them and understands that their journey is a lot different from your traditionally aged students. Because again, I think that a lot of them, when they go on the website or when they have conversations with counselors, I also don't necessarily believe that all counselors have an understanding of those non-traditional students. And it makes it complicated when they have those conversations. I've even heard some, phone calls or been a part of some phone calls where they just didn't really go extremely smoothly. I think that because when these prospective students calling about, just the program or the school and trying to explain their situation, seeing that some folks become agitated with those calls and not really understanding or get, walking into them with care and understanding. So I do believe like some training has to go on with that. Some people have to be more understanding of those populations, or yes, that too. And then I also think that, maybe having a designated counselor just for that population as well could be a fix. Yeah.
Yeah, I was speaking at a community college some time ago, and they were talking about the number of students that they have so one is like obviously the population of student, worker, adult, learner, people who's like have full-time jobs coming back to school. But the other thing that this influx of folks has changed is what people are looking to study. So, very skill-based kinds of degrees are emerging, very technical. And I don't mean technical like computer, but I mean, people who are going back to learn, digital processing, people who are going back to get a degree in, graphic design or graphic editing. And so I think as an instructor, as an educator, that's pretty exciting because it shows you how the academic enterprise, which is where I spent much of my time, responds to the needs of the workplace. So part of what we've got to do in higher education is have a better sense of who's out there and wants to come to higher education, and then what is it they're looking for, and then how do we deliver and package and offer the kinds of things that they want, especially when, I was just having a conversation with a group of faculty today, that faculty have their own opinions about, what do they want to teach and what makes a learned person and the like. Times are changing. So if you are a person who's listened to the podcast or will watch later and you're thinking about, going back to school, I guess what advice do we have for them? One that I know is front of mind, and literally just had this conversation today, is it's never too late. You can go back to school, and go back to school is an interesting phrase. I mean, I guess go back meaning, I don't know what that phrase means. People say it all the time, but like, you don't have to go anywhere to go to school. You can go to school right now where you are. If you were laying in your bed, if you're sitting in your sofa, if you're driving in your car, or if you're at work because you work the evening shift, you can go to school right now. One, in multiple ways, obviously online, and there are lots of online educational opportunities. And I'm not just talking about the Waldens and the
South College
and Midlands of the world.
Phoenix.
Arizona Global. Exactly. All of these are great places, right? Kudos to all of them. But, had a conversation with a campus in, a major R1 who has multiple programs online, 100% online, some of them asynchronous, where all you got to do is enroll, get admitted, and then you take your courses sort of at your own pace. I remember when I started at my career at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, that was unheard of for a place like Tennessee to have those kinds of offerings. But nowadays you find them at community colleges, you find them at four-year schools, you find them at technical schools, you find them at HBCUs. So the educational opportunity you're looking for is out there. You can do your work or ask AI to help you do your work and vet those. That's one. You can go to school right now if you want to. Two is there are all sorts of educational opportunities in neighborhoods and communities at community colleges. I've seen where so my own institution, my day job, Virginia Union, has a New York presence. And in New York, we can convene folks for special seminars and conversations. We can also, power certain lectures through our VU Global channel there. So, I mean, you don't have to even go to a certain place. If you live in the New York area and want access to it, it's there. And I know this is true for so many other institutions. So it just shows that, one, if you're listening to or thinking about it, you could obviously be in a barbershop or in the courthouse and you can go back to school. You can figure it out that way. Any advice you would give?
Yeah, I think that you hit some pretty good points. So I'll go another direction. I think a lot of times we get in our head just thinking about all the things that could go wrong, or all the, just thinking about the concerns and really not know the answer to them. So I just say start somewhere, whether that be, go on the website and read, try to find maybe an admissions counselor to email, or find their direct line or call the admissions office to have a conversation with them. If you ever, if you're thinking about, something pops up in your mind when you're driving or cooking or cleaning or taking care of your kid, whatever it may be, or if you're at work, if there's a question that you don't know the answer to, write it in your notes so that next time you have a conversation, you have it right there with you. But again, take that step. I think the longer you wait, you just prolonging the situation. But right now, I know that when I had the conversation the other day, they were saying like they really want to start next August, and I was like, all right, so what do we need to do from now until next August to make sure that you are register for classes. And we're kind of just setting a plan, whether that, we already started with a phone call. Then next week, we're going to look at some more programs and talk about the programs that they offer, and then the time to degree, so forth. And then, once August hits, hopefully they're both in the classroom. So set some goals for yourself too.
Yes, indeed. All right. And hello, Miss Wilson, Letitia. Good to see you. Always happy to have you in the room. Thank you for those who are reacting on Facebook as well. So yeah, it is a pop-up episode because I like that Wake Up Wednesday, although it's a little late, but some people might be waking up. So Sunday we did not have the show. I'll own that, as I've sort of alluded to twice tonight, which I rarely do. But my day job is as a professor and a dean of education, and right now, other than something being in my eye, I'm leading our school through a CAPE assessment. Someone asked me today, what's CAPE? Council for the Accreditation of Educator Preparation. So all schools of education, many schools of education are accredited by CAPE, Council for the Accreditation of Educator Prep, and it's an elaborate process like most of these are. And so on Sunday, we have a pretty significant milestone coming up, and I just could not pull it together to be on the show, given the other things I needed to do. So we did not have the show on Sunday, and we put out an announcement that we would have it tonight. So this is not, and someone asked me, are we changing to Wednesday? No, we're not changing to Wednesday. We have talked about changing the night. So if y'all like Wednesday night, let us know. But it's just for one, just for one time. We're going to do it this week because I could not do. That was me. I own it. Couldn't do it on Sunday, but here we are on a Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. If you don't mind, do us a favor, go like and subscribe to the channel and follow us, share the link out, click on some of the videos. There have been a couple of videos that have been posted, clips from previous episodes and shows. And we just finished talking about one topic. We're going to get ready for another topic. I appreciate the understanding, love, and light to you. And so listen, let's watch this quick video and commercial. After this commercial, we'll come back with our second topic and then close out with a song.
Hey fam, want to know how to subscribe to the channel? Well, let's get started. First, open your web browser or the YouTube app on your phone or computer. If on a computer, type www.youtube.com into the browser bar. Step 2, find the channel. In the search bar at the top, type Terrell Strayhorn, or simply visit my channel directly at Terrell Strayhorn Step 3. While watching a video on the channel, click the like button. It tells YouTube this content matters, and it helps others find it too. Step 4, hit subscribe and don't forget to click the bell to turn on notifications. Now you'll be notified every time we go live or post something new. And presto, that's it. That's all. Thanks for being part of the community. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the channel. Continue to do good work.
Awesome. Welcome back, and looking forward to what we will cover in the second half. And yes, appreciate that. 713, I don't know that number, but that is a Houston number. Someone saying congrats or wishing me well on the accreditation. Yeah, it's a lot. Accreditation. We'll come to it. All right, so let me get into this. All right, so as I was thinking about how to introduce this particular topic, I was, thinking about, have you, something that you've wanted to achieve, and have you ever achieved something that you sought, that you pursued? Could be a long time, could be multiple years, could be a few days, could be a few seconds, but something that you pursued and sought, went after. Could be a degree, promotion, a new home, a better salary, but you pursued it diligently, only to wake up one day and wonder, so now that I have it, why do I still feel empty or unsatisfied? And I think Part of this is because we've been taught as a society and as a people that the American dream is about working harder, it's about earning more money, it's about buying bigger, it's about climbing higher up the ladder. That's what people say, American dream, life, liberty. Well, they don't say that. They say having a home, having a car, having money, having whatever. But what if we've been missing one of the most important ingredients all along? And I read this fascinating CNBC article, new, that argues the American dream isn't broken because people lack money or because of the housing crisis or because of the public health crisis. That it's broken because too many people lack meaningful human connections. And as someone who has spent pretty much my entire career studying connections, but primarily in the last, since 2019, when my first book on belonging came out, I've really been studying human connection, the power of connection and what it does. I've got to tell you that I think this conversation in CNBC is long overdue. I think it's also 100% correct and right. There are 72% of Americans say that the American dream is defined as financial stability. And we got to talk about it. Finances do matter. You got to have money in order to get things done. A couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, trying to put gas in my car. And I remember I was on the phone with my mom and I was filling my tank up and I looked back and I was like, oh my gosh, that was a lot of money I just spent on gas. And I just thought, like, how many people probably could not put that much money in gas on a single visit? But anyway, 72% of Americans say the American dream, according to this article, is about financial stability. Large numbers of them say it's about possessions, the houses that you own or that you live in, the community that you live in. But only 35% say it's about feeling part of a community, feeling part of the larger society. 35%, only about a third say that the American dream is about having friends, stable, reliable connections with people, that's part of the dream. And so while 44% of Americans believe that they've achieved their version of the dream, 51% now believe that it is out of reach for them. And that's largely due to the cost of living and the housing prices and the healthcare costs. But those numbers really are important, and they tell us something fascinating. Americans chase finances, but we rarely talk about connections, belonging, relationships, purpose, and community. One of my mentors, supportive adults in my life, was talking to me today and had this piece of advice for me that, he said, of all of your possessions that you can ever have in life, remember, it's your connections and relationships that matter most. And then he walked me through it from cradle to grave. As kids, it's all about human connection. Kids who are, born into situations where they get comfortable with love and human touch and warm hugs and high five and laughter and conversation grow up to be very healthy and productive and functioning adults, all the way to the very end of life, where when aging adults start to face health crisis, many health professionals help us understand that it's like a single touch of a loved one's hand or just seeing the face, even if you can't always recognize it because of cognitive decline, that seeing the face of someone who cares about you can almost be like medicine, especially for those of us who might be in situations. So I thought this was a great article to bring up for tonight. I want to get into it. Got a couple of points. Would love to hear your thoughts about it, J'Quen. But before we go there, let's watch this quick video. So the article quotes this guy who's a professor at Harvard University. He's known as the happiness professor. Cool title. But this is a quick video. His TED Talk, it's just an excerpt of it that's about the content in that article. Take a quick look.
What keeps us healthy and happy as we go through life? Pictures of entire lives. Those pictures are almost impossible to get. The Harvard study of adult development may be the longest study of adult life that's ever been done. For 75 years, we've tracked the lives of 724 men, year after year, asking about their work, their home lives, their health. About 60 of our original 724 men are still alive, still participating in the study, most of them in their 90s. We don't just send them questionnaires. We interview them in their living rooms. We get their medical records from their doctors. We draw their blood. We scan their brains. What are the lessons that come from the tens of thousands of pages of information that we've generated? The clearest message that we get from this 75-year study is this: good relationships keep us happier and healthier. We've learned 3 big lessons about relationships. The first, it turns out that people who are more socially connected to family, to friends, to community are happier, they're physically healthier, and they live longer. And the experience of loneliness turns out to be toxic. People who are more isolated find that their health declines earlier in midlife, their brain functioning declines sooner, and they live shorter lives. So the second big lesson that we learned is that it's not just the number of friends you have, but it's the quality of your close relationships. High conflict marriages, for example, without much affection, turn out to be very bad for our health, perhaps worse than getting divorced. The people who were the most satisfied in their relationships at age 50 were the healthiest at age 80. And the third big lesson that we learn is that good relationships don't just protect our bodies, they protect our brains. In your 80s, the people who are in relationships where they really feel they can count on the other person in times of need, those people's memories stay sharper longer. So what about you? What might leaning into relationships even look like? It might be something as simple as replacing screen time with people time, or livening up a stale relationship by doing something new together, or reaching out to that family member who you haven't spoken to in years, because those all too common family feuds take a terrible toll on the people who hold the grudges. I'd like to close with a quote from Mark Twain. "There isn't time. So brief is life for bickerings, apologies, heartburnings, callings to account. There is only time for loving, and but an instant, so to speak, for that. The good life is built with good relationships." Thank you.
All right, that's the happiness professor. And thanks, Ms. Wilson, Dr. Wilson. So I put the article in the chat. You can also Google it. It's just the American Dream is missing a key ingredient. And yeah, I love this. Oh my gosh, look at y'all. Oh, wow. Hello, Dr. Whitty. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And a book recommendation, if you haven't already, check this out by Dr. Murthy, Together, Healing Power of Human Connection. I could imagine that book is right on. And it's such a powerful pickup about life, at least for me. I think one is, I'm usually pretty attentive to anything that comes out in the media that connects back to aspects of my research. And so this particular article has the word sense of belonging in it. And I think the first thing that I resonated with me from the article is that success without belonging does feel surprisingly empty. I remember when I was a doctoral student at Virginia Tech, I'll just say it. And I was, like where Letitia is, and I did my proposal defense, and then I did my dissertation study, and I had my final defense. And I kept thinking that, like, when you do your final defense and you're done, that the sky would open up, the birds would chirp, you would feel something. And I do remember feeling like excitement about it, but like many doctoral recipients, maybe because we hype it up so much, it was sort of anticlimactic. It was like, I did it. I went into a room, I defended, I came out, I was happy. My mom was reminding me of this other night. But really what did it for me was not about the defense. It was not about, I remember at my particular doctoral program, they send you out after your defense and then they welcome you back in. If they welcome you back in by calling you Dr. So-and-so, that's an indication that you passed your defense. If they welcome you back in as Terrell, that's an indication that, some more work is needed, or you maybe did not pass your defense. And so I remember going out and being like really nervous. It's a grueling, intense time. It's a serious defense where you have to defend your approach. You got to answer questions. It takes time to move through. So I think my defense was at least over an hour or so. And I went out and I was thinking, oh my gosh, did I pass it? And I came back in, they called me doctor. And I was like, okay, I'm done. But the sky didn't open up and birds didn't chirp. And, no one's dropped my intro music. And so, but it wasn't until later when my mom, my dad, my lifelong friends, Belinda and Evelyn and Mario and many others came together with my church family to celebrate, that I felt like, all right, this is what it's all about. So for me, success without belonging can feel empty. But when you experience success and you're surrounded by people who love you, who trust you, who support you, and who you support. So it's dynamic. It's not just one way where you're only the person who's always understanding and always forgiving and always, being held accountable, but the other person is not reciprocating. That's not the kind of, it's like you were saying there, those kind of relationships can actually be toxic and can drain and zap your energy. But when I realized, man, the best part about my doctoral training, other than the content and the fact that I got what I needed and I feel very qualified and have felt very qualified and competent and capable to do the work that's expected of me as a scholar, as a researcher, as a professor, is that at the end of my experience, I still had community. I still had people who wanted me to win, who celebrated me, who didn't get doctorates themselves, but you wouldn't tell. I mean, at my graduation, my sister, I'm sure she's watching, listening, I will never forget, at my graduation, well, there are two things that stand out about my graduation. One is that getting my doctorate from Virginia Tech got this new regalia the year that I graduated. And it's beautiful. People still to this day compliment and talk about like, oh my God, where'd you go? That's beautiful. So they had a new regalia, but they had not rolled it out fully yet. But my mom and my dad really wanted me to have this regalia. And so anyone knows my mom knows that she can move mountains. And so my mom called someone who called someone who called someone and ultimately got me access to this brand new, not even hot off the press yet, regalia. So I'm at commencement as the only doctoral student in the brand new regalia. So that's causing some, you stand out already, but that's only because you got to have people in your corner who love you and that you love back and who want you to win. But during my my graduations, I'm going, everybody's going to their seat and they sit down and make a lot of noise because they're singing the graduation song, the band is playing, whatever. But the moment it gets quiet, my sister screams out, "Strayhorn!" And like, you can hear it across the whole entire stadium. I was like so embarrassed in one sense, but the same sense, I was like, man, that's so great that there are people in this space to celebrate me, because so many people, by the time they get to the end of success, they have the money, they have the car, they have the job, they have the promotion, but they've got no one. They have no long-term relationships or friendships or connections that have survived. And so I agree with the happiness professor that it's not just about money, car, degree, acreage. It's also about the quality of those relationships. I'll stop there, see what you got to add.
Oh, wow. Long delay. Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Shout out to Mama Linda for finding the regalia for you. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with this. This also reminds me of when we were in Houston, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Good Morning America when they ran that story on the elderly finding community? They lived healthier, happier lives. They lived much longer. So they were encouraging them to and promoting that, finding a a group of people who work out together. Maybe it's in the pool or so forth, or going out to get coffee once a week. So, and when you find people that you have things in common with, things that people that just meaningful relationships, you're much more happier, you live a better life, so forth. So it reminded me of that one, your introduction to the blog or article, and then watching that video. Second, I also find myself, kind of resonating with it because I know me, and one thing I know about myself is that I can have a plan in place, like, all right, I'm going to go home and I'm going to go do X, Y, and Z, maybe make dinner, take a shower, so forth. But if someone texts me saying like, hey, we want to go out to eat at this time, you want to come? I'm definitely going to divert and do that. Second, if I, really need a pick me up to like do some work, I'm going to find a coffee shop. I really rather work with people around me versus in isolation, because it just brings me a lot more energy, seeing other people doing whatever they're doing. You introduced me to, what is it? Shut Up and Write, right? These are people from all over the place that just get online and they start the session with, introducing yourself. What are you working on? And then you kind of, put yourself on mute, work for maybe 30 minutes, an hour. And then everyone unmutes and, kind of tell each other like where you are in your process, whatever the work that you're doing, and you go back on mute. So it could go from an hour session to a 3-hour session to however long you want it to. You can also, it could be a 5-hour session, but you may leave in 3 hours. I find those kind of environments helpful, just because I'm around other people. It just brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah, I mean, the human connection. And I often tell people in the other show, TLS Talks, I did a series or a unit on love languages, and I was trying to help people understand like love languages is not just romantic love relationships. It's about how you experience and hear and feel love and receive love, as well as how you express love as an individual. And I often will tell people like obviously for many of us, our first lessons on love, we learned from our family. And so it's no surprise to me that one of my love languages is acts of service, which is not about people. It's not about servitude. It's about someone helping, lighten the load for you, someone who wants to pitch in and support in meaningful ways. And so during that series in TLS Talks, I was unpacking for myself, where did I get this from? And I often go straight to my mom and dad, because growing up, I would tell people, like, even in relationships that, I know my parents were partners for life because I never watched one of them, do something without the other. In fact, many of my friends would comment and compliment, like, your mom and dad always go everywhere together. Your mom and dad are always traveling together. If they're going to go to North Carolina, he's going to drive and she's going to ride, and they're going to switch. If he gets tired, she's going to drive. And, they did that. I would watch them always use the metaphor. I don't know if I ever watched them. I'm sure I have, but I would tell people, like, if there was a sofa that had to be moved and my mom started to move it, my dad would get up and help move it the same. Sorry, someone's texting saying something about it. I'll read it in a second. So to the hotline. So if she had to move a chair, my dad would quickly get up and do it the same. But what that did for me watching it is that I think that's what relationship is about. That's what friendship is about. So as a friend, I try to, like, I have a friend who heard about it was like, what's going on with this CAPE stuff? You need some help. And I didn't ask for it. They just descended on my city to say, I'm here. I've cleared my schedule to be available to help you get this done. That to me brought me to tears, because that's I receive love that way. I hear, you don't have to tell me you love me as a friend. That's what you showed it to me in that action. The same way in which I try to express it to my friends. So to know that no matter what, you can have degrees, you can have cars, you can have jobs, you can have, fancy iPhones. But if you don't have meaningful, sustainable, durable friendships that persist over time, then, the article said, well, one, research is pretty clear. You may not be as happy as you could be. And then two, I think the health impacts, loneliness is lethal. People can be so lonely that they, I think people have heard of this, like someone almost dying of being sad or dying of a broken heart. It's a real thing. And this article just really underscores that belonging matters. So I'm going to say this because I see that we got comments and stuff in the chat too. But as I say in my own research, I know we've written about this too. Belonging is not about just being included. It's not, hey, come in the room or sit in the car with me. Just because you are co-located with the person doesn't mean that that's a sense of belonging. Or, like I told the story during the other show that like I went somewhere with someone who took me to a restaurant where I had nothing to eat. And I remember thinking to myself, my dietary restrictions. Why would you pick a place that gave me nothing to eat? That's, extraordinarily selfish. But it also told me a lot about the person. And so if you, belonging is about being included. So, I went with them to a restaurant, but I didn't feel a sense of belonging. I felt excluded though I was with them. But if they had gone to a place where they realized, oh, he's vegan, he's vegetarian, let me look at the menu and see that he has some options. And then they have some options. That's where you start to feel that sense of mattering, which is a part of belonging. There's reciprocity to the relationship. There's affirmation and confirmation of who you are as a person. And then there's that safety and security that's so important. So one of the questions we got, Miss Wilson asked, hey, Kim, what's up? Hopefully you heard the shout out I gave to you just a little bit ago. If not, you got to go back and watch the episode. So the question is, what does belonging look like for people that have various intersecting identities? Thoughts?
Sorry, there's a storm here, so you're delayed. You want me to go first?
Sure.
What does belonging look like for people who have various intersecting? I think what does it look? What does belonging? It looks very different, especially like to dot. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's a good question. But I'm not going to go there because it's going to take another hour. I think it looks different for everyone, depending on various things. I know for some of the things that I know is like just people that just have commonalities, similarities, something they can get on board with, their values, their morals, so forth, regardless of like race, gender, economic status, geographical location. But just finding people that supports you, that are behind you, that care about you deeply, not just around you for only just what you bring to the table, but it's someone that just understands that who you are, what you want to do, and also understanding what they can bring to the table too. Kind of how I see like relationships. It's not just one-sided. It's two people fighting for each other. And I'm not just talking about like relationships. It could be a friendship, it could be workships, whatever it may be. But when I think about it, it's like someone who accepts me for who I am. Understanding that I do have flaws, understand that I will make mistakes. And I see that too. In them is like you're a human. I think someone also that just values me, and tries to I guess like bring me up, not try to tear me down. And to me, it doesn't really have anything to do with race or my financial status, so forth, but someone that truly just deeply cares.
Yeah, I think care and concern is a critical part of belonging. I think what I do think about identity is that identity shapes that, right? So people care and they have concern for one another, but how you care and concern for how you show care and concern can be different depending on who the person is. So, for instance, just had this the other night. It's in Houston is the World Cup, and everywhere you go, there are super duper listening parties or watch parties for the World Cup. And so I went to one that was incredible. I didn't know I was going to that. I just went to a spot and it ended up being this incredible scene. But I ended up around a lot of people who I did not know, but were very nice and cordial and friendly and invited me in very quickly versus pushing me out. But it was important for their care, their concern, their invitation for me to join the conversation reflected some understanding of how I show up in the world. Said even more directly, like I watched people who jokingly say the N-word be more careful the moment I came into their circle. Or people who might start obviously it was, that night was not about, U.S. was not playing that night. It was Mexico and I want to say Argentina. I can't remember right now. But anyway, this person obviously identified very strongly with Mexico, but wanted to make some comments about U.S. And I remember watching her eyes when she was like, so wait, are you a U.S. fan? I was like, I'm a citizen, right? So the fact that she was thoughtful about what she was saying and how she was saying it, I think that belonging does look like relational consistency. So the thing that I pride myself on is the fact that, going in this direction, getting older, I don't have fewer and fewer and fewer relationships. I have, just as many, if not more relationships, substantive relationships as I had when, 5 years ago, because I don't start and stop and terminate relationships, and I don't throw people away, and people don't throw me away. So for that standpoint, belonging requires this relational consistency where you get to know people and depend on them and trust them, and get comfortable with them over a long period of time. To where today I was talking to my mom and I was telling her about people in my life, and I was able to say hey, here's Belinda. Shout out to Belinda, by the way. She's going to be a grand marshal in the commencement for Walden University this summer in San Antonio. So congrats, Belinda, on that. But then my mom asked about Evelyn. My mom asked, so she could ask me about these people who I've known since grad school, people who I've known since when I started my career at Tennessee. And it's not like I would say, oh, I don't talk to that person anymore. That person doesn't talk to me, or I'm not comfortable with that person. A lot of these relationships have endured and persisted. So relational consistency is an important part of belonging. I think care and concern, I think respect, trust is huge. I want friends and have friends who trust me. As one of my friends was telling me yesterday, no judgment zone is huge for me, because I'm not trying to be judged. So I try not to judge my friends, but that does require for people to trust you and to step out and experience non-judgment. But there's reciprocity to it. And I'll stop on that one. And that is, I'm also not looking, my mom was one who really helped me think about this. I'm not looking to be somebody's doormat. So I'm not going to be a better friend. It's not about being a better friend than you are. But I will say this, if I'm a better friend than someone is, and there's countless times where that person has dropped the ball, let me down, slammed the door in my face. You were saying, we've had this conversation. What'd you say about if you're driving somewhere and somebody calls you and says, I'm gonna pivot on the play and go this way. The only thing I ask as a friend is you have the decency to text or call me and say, hey, I know we said we're going to meet on the screen, or I know we said we're going to go grab hot dogs, change of plans. But for people who just repeatedly leave me hanging, at some point I've got to have enough respect for myself as a friend to say I'm worth more than that. And that's when I will start changing the nature of our connection and our relationship. I've only now gotten to a place where, again, I was telling my mom and one of my sort of male mentors or male figures in my life this, I've only now gotten to a place where I realize why people sever relationships in their adult life and why people block access to people and people's access to you. So, and it goes back to the video, like what he was saying, like, love relationships that are toxic, where there's no love, there's no, love's not being served at the table. Those are actually harmful to your health. And so rather than saying, oh my God, I read this paper and it says I got to have friends, I got to be connected, so let me stay connected to all these people, even people who drain me and who disrespect me and who treat me unjustly. No. That is not the purpose of this episode. Those folks, you either need to, one of my doctoral students who's now professor at the University of Missouri, Michael Stephen Williams, says it this way, that you need to renegotiate the terms of engagement and say, listen, my grandma, when she was alive, she would say, I plant you now and I'll dig you later. It means like, we used to be like this, and because of the way that things are going now, I need us to be like this. We still know each other. Here's how we will engage, but it'll be different. And there may be times where you realize there's such a negative impact on your well-being, your joy, your happiness, to quote the article, that you say, you know what, actually, I just need some distance from you in this season. And I need you to not have access to me. And that's the part that I think takes some maturity, some growing up to experience and to embrace. So let's see, there's love that, acknowledgement, relational consistency, care, consideration, inclusion. Yes. And then I don't know if I showed this one from Dr. Whitty. Success is nothing without someone to share it with. This is Billy D. Williams who said that. And then I've heard about these blue zone areas where people live to be 100+ years old because of community and belonging. I think that article, the clip you were talking about, I remember seeing something where they were saying these people, I think it's in Australia somewhere, but like they're one with the earth, they plant gardens, they eat well, their air is clean, and consequently living to 3 digits is quite common in that area. But it just points to the point of belonging and what this article is all about. All right, so we're going to close up here. I have a question. Where is my question for folks? Okay, so have you ever accomplished something but wished a particular person or persons could have celebrated it with you? Those of you who are in the listening audience or watch later, think about it. Ever accomplished something, did something at work, at home, at play, and wish a particular person or people could have celebrated with you or been there with you? So I'll go first because you've been going first. I remember, and this is so meaningful to me. So when I was at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, I don't know why I keep talking about Knoxville a lot, but and I loved being at Knoxville as a professor. They had this, I don't know if that's essential to the story, but I was invited to come give a talk at an international conference in Rome, Italy. And I applied at the time to get travel support because my faculty colleagues were telling me like, hey, if you're going to go to an international conference, you could get money from the department, money from the college, money from the university. So whatever the cost of going to Italy was, I looked at my flight, my hotel, all that stuff. And then I applied for some money from the department, some money from my college, and some college of education, and some from the university. And I got money to support my travel. And I went to Rome. I went to Italy. I will never forget this. So it was like I don't remember if it was my first. It was not my first trip because my mom and dad allowed me to go to Bahamas with my church family when I was growing up and stuff. But anyway, I went to Rome and I saw the Colosseum. I saw the cathedrals. I saw the towers. I saw everything that you see in history books. And I remember like looking at this map or whatever and walking around thinking, okay, where's the Colosseum? And when I finally saw it, I just remember, I was like, And I thought to myself, wow, I'm here and I'm seeing amazing parts of history, but I don't have anyone to talk to. I don't have no one to tell it about. And so I remember telling myself, never again, that when, unless I absolutely have to, but like going places in the future, I would want someone's to experience it with me. And what it was for me, it's not like, in other words, because I got to go, like my mom and dad have always tried to, when I go to hotels sometimes and they're really beautiful, I'll FaceTime or I'll record and send it to them because I feel like I got to where I am because of their sacrifice. And consequently, the things that I get to experience, they should be able to experience vicariously through me. And that should continue. Like my kids and my friends and my neighbors and, my fraternity brothers, regardless of what they do, people should be able to experience some things because I'm able to experience them and they're connected to me. And so I remember seeing Rome, seeing Italy, and saying, never again, I want other people to also see the world with me. And so if it's a grad student, if it's one of my advisees, if it's a colleague, if it's a family member, if it's my kids, if it's my niece and nephew, whatever, that's something that matters a lot to me. What about you?
Oh, that's a good one. I think that for me, my dissertation journey, I could see the light is coming to, a close at the final stages. And, my best friend, my grandfather, passed away on June 17th, I believe, this year. And, he's been to my 8th grade formal or recognition, been to my high school graduation, went to undergrad graduation, master's as well. I know he was a master barber, so he always used to cut my hair when I went into town all the time. He would talk about how proud he was. So I'm gonna keep this short, but he won't be there for my graduation, for my PhD. That'd be very hard. So I know for me that I will, once I get it, visit his grave, have a conversation. But I know he'll be proud then.
Yeah, well, you're not alone in this. There's love and light to everyone. I see so many of these. I'm glad I asked the question. So Dr. Whitty says, yeah, I wish my grandparents could have witnessed and celebrated me earning my PhD. Congratulations again, Dr. Whitty. My good old cousin, Creola, who actually has the same name as my maternal grandmother. That is my grandma's first name, Creola, and Creola Harris. Of course, she says, I wish my mom, my grandmother, aunts, one of those is Aunt Creola, uncles, cousins could have been able to see me be a published author. We got to get Creola on the show because she does have a book that she's published and we got to talk about it. And then my sister in love, Colvetta, who's trying to tag people in. Thank you for tagging people in. Let them know. And we agree with you, Dr. Whitty, that sometimes you do have to change people's access levels. I didn't know that, y'all. I did not. I remember, I have seen people block folk and thought to myself, oh, Lord, why are they doing that? But sometimes you change people's access levels and your access to them in that way. So hopefully you found this episode really enriching and informative. If you have not already, please check out that article. Feel free to drop some comments in the platform that you're listening in on, your thoughts about it. But I do want to say to each and every one of you, thanks for tuning in. And if this conversation has challenged you or stretched you or given you something to think about, then please do us a favor and share this with one person who reminds you what belonging is, but also who needs to be reminded that they belong. The American dream isn't just about having a place to live. It's truly about having a place to belong. And so, thanks for tuning in. Thank you. One more wish my Nana, I don't know how to say it, Pappy, mother, father, brother, and niece could have joined me when I traveled to Africa, Ghana, and Nigeria. Okay, we got to compare notes. I got to get over to those parts of Africa. But listen, don't go anywhere before we end. We're going to debut one song tonight. It is a premiere, first time ever on the show. And then do us a favor, like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you at the next episode. Be safe, be kind, and be good to yourself. All right, take care.
Hey fam, want to know how to subscribe to the channel? Well, let's get started. First, open your web browser or the YouTube app on your phone or computer. If on a computer, type www.youtube.com into the browser bar. Step 2, find the channel. In the search bar at the top, type Terrell Strayhorn, or simply visit my channel directly at Terrell Strayhorn Step 3. While watching a video on the channel, click the like button. It tells YouTube this content matters, and it helps others find it too. Step 4, hit subscribe and don't forget to click the bell to turn on notifications. Now you'll be notified every time we go live or post something new. And presto, that's it. That's all. Thanks for being part of the community. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the channel. Continue to do good work.
Look here. You got somebody at home, somebody you want to be with, somebody you want to stay with, somebody you ain't gonna keep waiting. This one for you. I came in with my shoes still dusty, door cracked lit, your key still near. You said, boy, don't make me ask you twice, so I pulled that truth up clean and clear. I got your handprint on my collar, got your voice still warm in my phone. And I love this room, but I love you more, so I'm not staying very long. I can't stay too long, can't stay too long. She got that porch light on, and I'm headed home. Oh, I can't stay too long, can't stay too long. Can't keep that good girl waiting. No, I can't stay too long. Your laugh hits soft like Sunday morning. Your eyes said, tell me what's the plan. But my heart been running down that road to the woman who can calm my hands. There's a plate on the stove, I know it. There's a dress by the bedroom door, and she don't ask for much from me, just to come back through that door. I can't stay too long, can't stay too long. Oh, she got that porch light on, and I'm headed home. I can't stay too long, can't stay too long. Can't keep that good girl waiting. No, I can't stay too long. You know what I'm talking about? When you got somebody who loves you right, you don't make them sit up late. These walls got stories in the plaster, these bars got names carved in the wood, but there ain't no thrill worth missing. What I know at home is good, so I raise one glass, then I'm gone now. Take my coat, let the door swing slow. If love is calling me by name, you already know I go. I can't stay too long, I can't stay too long. Oh, she got that porch light on, and I'm headed home. Oh, I can't stay too long, oh, can't stay too long. Oh, can't keep that good girl waiting. No, I can't stay too long. Oh, I can't I'm headed